Okay, so welcome back to another shop update. Today is March the 15th, 2017, and I want to try something a little bit different today. Usually I've got a list over here next to the camera on the things to talk about jotted down on a piece of paper, and it's clipped to my mic. But I want to use my app that I use for organizing my to-do list, my task, my thoughts, whatever. It's called Trello. And so you can have different boards within this app, and then within the boards you can have different lists and that kind of thing. And you can move them around, drag and drop real easy. It's pretty cool. It's free, and you can put it on your laptop, on your phone, and if you update it on one device, it updates live on the other. And so, you know, when I sit down at my desk and I look at my boards, what to do that day or that week, I can move around things, I can add things, take away things. You can set due dates, do a checklist or whatever. And so it's pretty cool. And so when I go in on my shop update boards and I, type in what I'm going to talk about that day, used to I would take that list, write it down on a piece of paper, and then clip that up here. But since it updates on my phone, I'm just going to use my phone. And these things are really informal. We're just talking, following up on projects and, what's coming up and that kind of thing. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at my phone about what to talk about. But at any rate, so the first thing on the list today is the follow-up on the clamp rack. Now, I know I kind of touched on it at the end of the video over on my main channel. If you guys missed it, I did a build on a clamp rack, and it's on my main channel. So you can go check that out and then come back here if you like. But I want to just kind of give you some in-depth information on the clamp rack, the steps I took to get to where I ended up, my thought process and that kind of thing. But what prompted this whole thing is, and I do think I mentioned this in the video, is that my youngest son, he's 2, he'll soon be 3, but one of the clamps fell off, and I think I'm the one that actually made the clamp fall off, but it hit him in the back and it bruised him up. He was fine, but he cried, and it could have been worse, especially with the pipe clamps. Those things are heavy, and I've got this thing hanging up because I've got some 5-foot pipe clamps, so it has to be up off the floor a little ways. And so some of the ones that they can reach, all they'd have to do is just grab it or move it around, and it would fall off. But I included some safety features on this particular clamp rack, as you saw in the video, and it's working out pretty good. I kind of did some tests and bumped it around and tried to move the clamp, and I think if you move it around too much, it will eventually walk out. But for the most part, it's working as it should. So just let me show you this some of the things that I came across while building it. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so let me talk about the clamp rack just for a second. The safety stops on the ends. I created a couple out of plywood just for some mock-ups to see, what kind of size I wanted and that kind of thing. I made mine out of maple just because I had it here in the shop. But the ones out of plywood I think will work just fine. This Pure Bond plywood is pretty strong. Now, if you had some plywood that had a lot of voids in it, I'd probably try to avoid that. You could even cut some out of a 2x4 probably. I don't know. Even if they broke, you could make some new ones. But I think you could try, plywood, 2x4, any of that. I think you'll be okay. As far as the way I attach these, I didn't go into this in the video, but these 4 I attached with brad nails. These 4 I attached with a dowel rod. I just screwed a hole into the support and also into the safety stop and put a dowel rod in between it and glued it together. The reason I did that was because, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I tried to shoot a 2-inch nail into that safety stop there, into that maple. I didn't have enough pressure on my air compressor, but that gave me an idea. Why not show options? So what if somebody didn't have a brad nailer and a compressor? Well, you can use a dowel rod to put that on there, and it worked just fine for me. So you have a couple of options with that. I kind of got these 2 supports too close together. I didn't move them. I just left them where they were, so it's kind of, these slide, it's kind of sticky. But this works out great for the pipe clamps. They're heavy, and like I said, you know, if I just pull that out and let it stop, it will eventually walk out if I wiggle it and move it like a kid might. But as far as, you know, you or I, when using a clamp rack, I think we're going to be just fine with this. And any safety is good safety in a shop, especially when you have kids running around, or not running around, but when you have kids in the shop. So I didn't go over the numbers with this thing, but I can get 61 clamps on this thing. These 4 hold the F-style clamps, bar clamps from Harbor Freight, and then the pipe clamps. I can get 5 of the bar clamps. I can get 24 of the F-style clamps, and then the pipe clamps I can get, I don't know, 8, let's see, 3, 3 supports. Anyway, it comes out to be 61, whatever that is. But if I used all F-style clamps, I can get 64 clamps in that one area. Whereas I only had these and these hanging up on my old clamp rack. I didn't even have the pipe clamps hanging up. So I still have room for a lot more clamps. I can have essentially 60 to 65 clamps hanging up here on the wall, just in a 3-foot span, which is pretty good. And I've also got a storage on top to hold other like pipe clamp accessories, jaw pads for the clamps, so I keep my clamp stuff up here. So it's really working out good. And I have more other, you know, other stuff down below it that's clamp related. So yeah, there you go. That's the lowdown on the clamp rack. Okay, so there's the clamp rack. It's working out great, and the one support that is too tight that I mentioned, I could have easily fixed that, and I just didn't. It was my fault. I put the supports too close together, and so the bar clamps are a little hard to, because the supports are too close together. And so that's not really anything to do with the stops on how to get it out or anything. It's just because I put the supports too close together. And I didn't fix it because actually it's an advantage in my case with the kids being in here, because it's hard to get out. And I'm okay with that. It'll eventually wear to where it's easier. So anyway, I like that. It's going great. And if you have any, you know, suggestions, or you see something that could be improved just by seeing that, let me know. Leave a comment down below. I love to read all those suggestions and opinions. Let's see, on my list, shop vacs. I had a shop vac die on me in the middle of a project. It was my main roll around shop vac that I use under my bandsaw table when I'm using that during a project, and I can clean up with it when I'm done. But it just quit. So it was a shop vac brand. What shop vacs do you guys use? You know, I know that Rigid makes some, Shop Vac brand makes them, and of course, you know, like Harbor Freight has them. But what are some of the ones that you have seen that are really good? I like to have a real good general shop vac just for cleanup in the shop, and then a smaller one, maybe a 3-gallon. Did they make three gallon? Anyway, a smaller one for the bandsaw, just dedicated for the bandsaw. And yeah, so I'd love to hear what you guys use, so I can be looking for a good one. Plans. I had plans for the drill charging station and the clamp rack. Let me just tell you something real quick, because I have to give credit to Jay, because he has influenced me on the way I work. Used to, when I started a project, I would just build something. I would sketch it out, maybe, and then build it. And then later, I would just kind of keep that piece of paper or whatever. I don't know why, but since I started doing plans first and then building the project, it has really helped me in my workflow. And you know, I can reference back to these plans. Yes, I sell the plans, some I give away. But as far as building a project, man, the plans really help going forward and through the process of the build. And so that's one of the reasons I do plans. And then also, like I said, I sell the plans. So we've got plans for the clamp rack and the drill charging station over on the website. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been really dedicating a lot of time to making plans. I also made a plan for a tool tote that we made in the woodworking classes that I host. I Make Studios. I made a tool tote for that class, and I never made a plan for it. So just recently I created a plan for that. It's a free download over on the website. Now I think that's going to be my next video. I'll get the kids out here and we'll just build a couple of these tool totes and just let them have fun. I had a couple of comments. I'm kind of jumping around, sorry, but I had a couple of comments on the newspaper article display about why weren't my kids in the video, and the reason being is because I want to kind of choose the projects that they are involved with, because if I try to bring them out here in every video or every project, they're gonna get bored, and so I don't want that. I don't want them to get burned out. They're young. Their attention span's not really, it's just about that long, and so I want to just bring them out here and get them involved in the projects that they want to be involved with or that they will have fun with. So this tool tote is that. I want them out here in the shop, if they want to be, and help me with that. I will build a couple of them, like I said, and just have fun. Another project that we'll be doing is a kids version picnic table, and we'll do plans for that as well. I'm looking forward to actually doing a video and a project with my kids. I don't think we did a birdhouse way back in the beginning of the channel when it was first started, but I'm trying to remember if we actually had a video from start to finish with them building. Oh, we had another tool tote from a pallet challenge. They're kind of small, so we're gonna graduate them up to a big boy tool tote. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. The plan's over on the website for that tool tote. It's actually really handy for somebody like myself, just around the yard or whatever. Just throw whatever tools you need that you're working with in that little tote, and it's pretty cool. So I'll leave the link down in the description for the website where you can go get those plans. Also, woodworking shows in Atlanta coming up in a couple of weeks. Hopefully I'll have stickers with me. I'll have a couple of mallets that I'm going to be making with me as well. And I don't know what else I'll have with me, but if you're going to be at the show, leave me a comment down below so I can kind of know who's going to be there and who's watching my shop updates. All right, guys, so that's all I've got for this week. I'll be in touch soon, and we'll see you next week. See ya.